Meta released an official MCP for ads that plugs into ChatGPT. The setup is fairly simple. The promise is that you can manage your Meta ads through ChatGPT. The catch, only a small number of accounts can actually use it, and ChatGPT can only do very few actions like read data to give very simple reports. No edits, no campaign launches, no budget changes right now. However, good news, Markifact just got approved as an official ChatGPT app. One connection, full control across all your ad accounts. Here is how to manage your meta campaigns in ChatGPT using Markifact new app. People often ask me if they can manage their meta ads using ChatGPT directly from ChatGPT. The problem that you have today is that if you go to the apps, the connection for ChatGPT, and you look for meta ads, you don't have official connectors to connect your meta ads to ChatGPT. So what I'm personally using is Markifact. I've made plenty of videos about Markifact and how to connect your different ad account. But what's really cool is that today Markifact became an official app for ChatGPT. So if you go here in the apps and look for meta ads or just Markifact, you will see the Markifact toggle, which means that you can connect your Markifact account directly in ChatGPT so you can manage your ads. So all the accounts and connections that are connected in your Markifact account, you can manage them through ChatGPT. So you don't have to build specific MCP, specific connections, just one connect button to your Markifact account and you can start managing your ads right from ChatGPT from your account. So the first step before clicking on connect is to prepare the connection. So first, go back to your Markifact account, go to the MCP, and create a new MCP server. This will be used to make the connection between ChatGPT and your Markifact account. So let's call it ChatGPT. And you don't have to do anything else at the moment. You just need to double check that you have your different ad accounts, and in my case, Meta, connected to Markifact. So when we do the connection with ChatGPT, ChatGPT can actually access my Meta Ads account. So let's go back to ChatGPT and click on Connect. And here it will ask me to sign within Markifact, which I will do right now. And you can see here I can select the connection, the MCP server I just created in Markifact. I will authorize, authorization successful, and just in 2 seconds, my ChatGPT is connected to Markifact and I can start chatting. So let's go ahead and chat. And you can see here, if I click on the little plus, and I go to more, you can see that the Markifact connector is there. It means now that I can chat with all my Meta accounts that are connected into Markifact. So you see, it just took a couple of clicks and now I can chat with my data. So let's do something very simple at the beginning. Do you have access to my Meta Ads account called AFM Energy? And if yes, give me the spend for the past 3 days. So we'll just double check that the connection works with a simple prompt just to get the spend for the past 3 days. So you can see that ChatGPT will look at the Markifact connection, run the app to understand how it needs to do it to get the data. So you can see that the connection works and ChatGPT understands that it needs to use Markifact and see how it can get the data back into ChatGPT. ChatGPT found the account, so now it's querying the account to get the spend for the past 3 days. ChatGPT finished working, he found the correct account, and was able to pull the spend for the past 3 days. Let's do something a bit more challenging for ChatGPT. Let's try to make a reporting on more data and see what I come up with. I would like you to make a table comparison between last week and the week before. I want you to compare cost, impression, and clicks. I also want you to make a bar graph with the spend for the past 14 days. And then I want you to make a table with a breakdown by placement to see where my clicks are coming from. So this is more complex because now ChatGPT needs to use Markifact MCP to make different queries because we asked different data, different metrics, different dimension. It cannot query everything at once, so it needs to first understand what we want, check with the Markifact MCP library which API calls it needs to do to get all the dimension and metrics that we requested, and then it needs to merge and compound everything in an answer that he can give us inside the chat window. So let's let him work and see if he can figure it out. Let's have a look at the answer. So it took ChatGPT 35 seconds playing around with Markifact MCP to get the data. So we have the bar graph with the spend per day. So yeah, pretty basic, but pretty sweet. Then we have the week-over-week comparison. So we can see that the spend increased and the volume of impression. And clicks also increased, cool. And then we have the breakdown by placement. So we can see the different placement, platform, the cost, impression, clicks, and even calculated the click share. Pretty interesting. So we see that it's mostly Facebook Reels and feed. So yeah, there you go. It was a more challenging breakdown, and it took just 30 seconds for ChatGPT to understand. So why was ChatGPT able to get the data so fast? It's not because ChatGPT is so smart. It's because the way that Markifact MCP is built, Markifact app is built, is that ChatGPT doesn't have to wander around and send 200 API call to Meta to try to understand how to get the data. ChatGPT will read the documentation of Markifact to understand which tool it needs to use and which API call it needs to make to Meta to get that so fast. So you can see here, list of account, list of report. First, the LLM will read the MCP documentation, and then if the MCP is built the right way, we'll get the data pretty fast. So those are what we call read operation. We read data from Meta account. But what we can do also with the Markifact app is write action. So we can ask ChatGPT to actually do modification inside our campaign. So we'll do a very simple example. Here, we'll ask ChatGPT to pull some data from a retargeting campaign, check which ads is not working, and ask ChatGPT to actually pause that ad in the account. So I can show you that it actually can take action in your account. Here, we're going to pause an ad, but you could also create a new campaign, create new assets, upload new ads. You can do everything that you can do inside Meta directly from ChatGPT. I need you to pull the data for the reach campaign in our account. There is currently 2 ads running. I want you to pinpoint which one is working best. And then we'll decide to pause the worst performing ad in that campaign. All right, so we can see that we have 2 ads. One took most of the budget and most of the click. So this one is generating way more traffic. So regarding which ad worked best, this specific one outperformed the other one. So now I'm not going to go into detail about the recommendation. I just ask for the numbers, but now I will ask ChatGPT to just keep the one that's working and pause the one that's not working. So just for the example, you can see here that indeed I have 2 ads actually active in my account, and I will ask ChatGPT to pause the worst performing. And you will see that when I ask ChatGPT to take action inside my account, so I do a write action, the LLM will ask me all the time for a validation. So either click a button to say approve or either say approve. But every time we do a write action, it needs our approval. So you can see here, it's ready to pause the correct ads and asking us to reply yes to actually post the ad. So ChatGPT cannot go and screw around your account. Every time you need to change something, you ask him to change something, he will ask for your approval before he touches anything into the account. And you can see that he mentioned specifically the ad is going to pause. He's very specific, so he's not going to touch around, he's just doing that one task. So I will just answer yes, and he will go ahead, send the API call, so the ad is going to be paused in the. There you go. You can see here that I need to allow, and it's done. The video is paused. Let me refresh the page in Meta, and we can see that the ad is now paused. So this is how it works. Here it was pausing an ad, but you could just ask, okay, create a new ad or duplicate an ad or create a campaign. You can do everything you do manually, but you can ask ChatGPT to do it because thanks to the Markifact MCP, it knows exactly how to do those right operation inside your account. So this is how you can use ChatGPT to actually manage your Meta Ads campaign and Meta Ad account. So as you can see, it's not giving the keys to ChatGPT and ChatGPT decides what to do. It's you being the pilot and telling ChatGPT what it needs to do. Get me a report, get me some data, post this ad, create that campaign. It's not ChatGPT roaming on his own in your account. It's you telling him what to do, exactly like you would do with your colleague or employee, telling them what to do in the account. Same stuff, but with an LLM, with the difference that the LLM is way faster at doing this than a human. If you actually want to manage meta ads from ChatGPT, the official MCP gets you a fraction of the way. The Markifact official app gets you the full stack. Link is in the description. Create an account on Markifact, try it, and let us know in the comment how it works for you.